Alright, you just received that official looking email, the one that low-key makes you panic. First off, I want to say congratulations. Congrats on making it this far. Congrats on submitting your UWC application. That itself is already huge. And so I'm here to actually help you prepare, okay? So no fluff, no vague advice, just real stuff that you really need to know. From what kind of questions you'll get asked to how to handle tricky scenarios that you'll get in your first UWC interview. Now, I really don't want to waste any more of your precious time, so let's get right into it. So what is the interview like? It's not really an interrogation. I think it's more of like a conversation. At least that's how it felt for me. They're really trying to understand you, that's for sure. Who you are, how you think, how you handle situations, and you really don't need to memorize a script, but you do need to have solid answers for these. So yeah, one recurring question is why do you want to go to UWC, which is a pretty basic one, right? One thing though is that they really don't want to hear for diversity. Trust me, everyone says that, they're tired of it. You have to make it personal, and you have to link it to you, and I would suggest you to tell them a story of yours. The interviewer really should remember you for your answers, but only because they reflect you as a person, right? Not really as a candidate. So for example, if the alumni or whoever is interviewing me asks me how I found UWC, I would say that I found it through a friend, but I applied because I genuinely wanted an education that actually challenges me, and that I wasn't just looking for a good school. I really wanted to be part of an environment where people care about the world, and that is something I learned through reading, the UWC values, and that place was, a place where I could actually learn beyond just textbooks. The thing I see applicants struggling the most with is having this constant fear that they might not know too much about politics or global issues or whatnot. And I would say that when it comes to questions about your country, you shouldn't stress yourself too much, because they really want to get a sense of what you know and what's really important to you, since when you come to UWC, you're not just a student, you're an ambassador, you're representing your country. And so these things don't stop being relevant to you any more than the commitment to diversity stops being a part of UWC. Meaning that even if you're not a political expert or a historian, which I'm not, that's for sure, the point is really not to know everything. It's more about showing your awareness of the big picture. So they might ask things like these. And for instance, I remember talking about the Sahara conflict in my application. So yeah, that's one thing I talked about, and I remember being really interested, like genuinely interested in that topic, so I had things to say. So they will probably ask you scenario questions. So they just really want to know your reaction to certain scenarios, right? So disagreements, for example, or certain power dynamics within the school that you're not really okay with. Here are some examples. And so what I want you to do is I want you to think first. Take a second, maybe 5 or 10 before speaking. And you also should be balanced. So the point of this is that they're testing your ability to handle conflict, your problem-solving skills, right? So don't start drama, although I don't think any of you will. Show your values also. Your answers should reflect respect. They should reflect critical thinking, initiative, maybe leadership. For example, if I was asked how I would handle such a situation, I'd say first I would try to understand where they're coming from. If we're still stuck, I would suggest a compromise. If it's something bigger, maybe we can get a third person's perspective. But at the end of the day, we're living together. We don't have to be best friends, but we do need to respect each other. So try to connect it to a UWC value and really show that you're engaged. And if you've lived a similar experience before, also do not fail to highlight that. Okay, champion. So your interview is tomorrow. Okay, you're watching this little video, you answered certain prompts to get a little grasp of what's coming next. But what I want you to do is I want you to get a mirror. So talk to yourself, right? I know it sounds weird, but it really does help. You can also record yourself, watch the video back, and ask yourself certain questions like, do you sound natural, right? Is your tone sort of like normal? Do you sound like you memorized it? And advice that I always give, do not memorize prompts. Really, it'll just make you more stressed than you already are. I also want you to get someone to mock interview you, right? That could be a friend, that could be a teacher, a parent, even your neighbor. Anything works. Okay, final advice. The interview with the alumni is literally 30 minutes, right? That is like the maximum you can get. Also, these are very nice and friendly alumni. They literally went through the same process. They had to do interviews, they had to do tests. They were also kind of stressed and afraid, right, of not getting in. So they're not expecting perfection, just honesty. They're not looking for a single type of student. They really want this like sort of mix of personalities, of backgrounds, of perspectives. So anything that you have to bring in, show it, right? And if they ask you a question and you don't know, just say so, okay? Do not make stuff up. I'm organizing a video call. So we've got this like huge group of almost 180 applicants on WhatsApp, and I just know how stressful this whole process is. So I really want to do some mock interviews with you guys, right? To sort of stimulate the experience of having this like group activities and everything. So we won't focus on alumni interviews since these are kind of not really mandatory, and they're really just chill conversations with alumni. That's what they are, right? So that's it. You got this. So now go and show them who you are.